You bet.
All right, guys, welcome to another episode of the More Deals Mastermind. We meet every Friday, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. More Deals Mastermind.com. That's moredealsmastermind.com. Our goal is to share ideas with like-minded agents. And Brian, thank you so much for that introduction. Who am I going to next? Let's go to you, Brian Beck. What's going on? Tell us what you want to learn from today's session.
Yeah, Brian Beck. I'm with eXp Realty. I'm in Lewis, Delaware, which is southern coastal Delaware. Yeah, Campbell just told me about it. I wanted to drop in and just kind of see what you got and pick up some ideas.
I love it. That's you're in the right place. So speaking of Campbell, let's bring Campbell up. Campbell, who are you, and what do you want to get out of these sessions? And by the way, thanks for sharing the information. Muted, my brother.
There we go. I'm unmuted now. Beth, unmute because I'm on roll tag team. She's the crab sitting over there. Now she's the dog. That's her screensaver. But we are really excited about being able to take advantage of a strategy to capture low-hanging fruit from our expired listings, the FSBOs, and the pre-foreclosures. And the strategy that you taught, I think, is absolutely brilliant. And the part that I was so intrigued about is the fact that every single listing appointment you have is done by Zoom. And when you said that, you literally blew my mind that you're closing every one of them on Zoom. I will never go visit a seller again in person for a presentation. It is a waste of time because in Atlanta, it's just like Southern California. You got to start yesterday to get there today because the traffic is just ridiculous. People ask us about traffic in Atlanta. We always kid. It started yesterday and it'll be over tomorrow. It is what it is. And this gives you a chance to offer a superior way of selling a home to somebody in a 14-day period of time. You either get it done or you have to move on and do something else. And it allows you to do it from your computer, and you can do more per day than driving around and wasting all that time to get to the appointment and get back. You got an hour invested driving over, an hour invested coming back. And with your strategy, in the first 5 minutes, you know whether it's going somewhere or not. And you're not afraid to stop the appointment. And I'm going to do the exact same thing. If they're not giving you the right signal, I'm done. That's the whole call. So, man, I appreciate it. Beth is dialing everything in. We're building our presentation right now, everything for what we will do audio visually to explain everything to them. And we're literally conferencing later this afternoon and finish it up. Beth, what have we got left to get done, love?
I'm finishing up the presentation now. I've got the flyers done, but I'm finishing up the presentation now, and then I'll move on to some of the scripting.
So we've been working hard with Claude and Chad on this.
Absolutely. Anything I can do, you know I'm here for you, brother.
Well, we'll share any of our resources with you that you want. Once we're done, I will push it your way so that you can see it. You know, I think the more we mastermind on this, different people are going to come up with different ideas. And one of the things that I've come up with, I'll discuss it later once we get rolling.
Hey, Robert.
That's why we do these calls. Yes, Beth, go ahead.
Real quick. I would love to see, do you have like a drive or something where you have documents that you've put together over the years?
That would be a yes.
Are you willing to share that?
And up to this point, Campbell, I think I've shared a lot. So absolutely. I'm fully transparent, guys. I want to make sure that we all have the tools. We all collaborate. We all look at it this way. We throw everything regarding the cash offers, the online offers, the transparency, all the landing pages, the seller, all the tools, the lead gen, squeezing the juice out of every listing, tools. We want to put in a blender. We want to share it in this call. That's what this call is about. So yes, Beth, I will absolutely open up the tool belt. But here you go. You just tell me what you need.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely.
Robert, you're a very generous man, and I can't state that enough.
Well, thank you.
And we'll gladly share back what we end up with as our final product, because things are a little bit different in Georgia than they are in California, and we're a little bit different than you are. There's always going to be different nuances to each presentation, but everybody can kind of take and build the pieces that fit them.
Agreed. And Beth, while we have you, why don't you let everybody know who you are and kind of what you're looking to get out of these sessions?
Beth Haig, Team Haig Realty, and we are in Northwest Metro Atlanta. We cover that part of the market. Atlanta's just a little bit too big to cover all of Atlanta and do it well. The biggest thing for me, I'm the detail. He's typically the front man, I'm typically the detail. And so I'm trying to dial in those pieces. Obviously, you know, until you put it out in the wild, you'll always have tweaks after you put it out in the wild. But I want to get it to that point where it's ready to go to a presentation, go to a seller, and eliminate a lot of those potential questions and issues up front.
Well,
And we've already got one that's agreed to it, Robert, that we're launching next week on Monday. And we got another presentation tomorrow for another one of our repeat clients who we're going to pitch this to because they do not want to sell until they've already bought their new home. And it's perfect for them. So we think we're going to have 2 under our belt very, very quickly with this.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. Implementation, taking action, making it happen. I love how you're implementing Zoom listing appointments. I can tell you that's been the best thing I've ever done. As we all know, in March of 2020, we all were forced to do everything via Zoom. And I go, hey, I like this. I'm not doing it any other way. And when everybody started going, what do you mean you don't go belly to belly with the seller? I'm not saying you don't have. I mean, you just said it yourself. Look at the traffic. Takes you an hour to get there. Takes you an hour to get back. That's 2 hours gone. When you can take a very detailed listing appointment, seller consultation in about 3 to 5 minutes from the comfort of what you're already doing right now. And when that's done, whether it goes one or two ways, either one is fine with me. 3 to 5 minutes. If we come to price and we agree to price, then we move into the rest of the presentation. But they don't qualify to see the presentation until they are realistic. I'm not saying, you know, that has to be exactly spot on, but we need to have a realistic. Motivated doesn't mean desperate. Motivated means realistic seller. So I love how you're implementing the Zoom presentation. It's changed my life. Carl and I, as you know, we were talking about, we're traveling the United States in our RV, hit 22 states, did classes and trainings and friends and family. And oh my gosh, it was amazing. Little over 2 years from our RV, taking listings all over the country. It was awesome. I was in other parts of the country taking listings in San Diego. I mean, it's crazy. It was crazy. So I'm glad you're doing that. So we'll talk a little bit about more of that. Sharon, I've got you up next. I see you're on the call. Why don't you go let everybody know who you are and what do you want to see out of this session?
Well, I'm just going because I was reminded about it when you did our meeting last Friday with Smarty.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I blocked you in my calendar, and I'm pretty new, so I'm just learning and taking everything I can in.
Well, speaking of Smarty, I just let him in the chat, but yeah, does he have some tools or what?
Yes, he does.
We're gonna have him talk a little bit more about what he's doing in that space. I can't wait. So Sharon, nice to meet you.
Good to meet you.
Who do we got next? I got next up, I got Andrew Tisdale.
Hey, Robert, I kind of remember you, a picture of you sitting on the beach, taking listing appointments on vacation somewhere.
Yeah, we took 4 listings that week from the beach in Cabo.
Right.
It was, you know, my wife thought it was funny, so she put a whole marketing campaign around it and got a lot of play. Yeah, that was fun. That was a fun time.
All right.
Who else we got? Let's see, Andrew, what's going on, brother? Want to tell everybody who you are and what do you want to get out of these sessions?
Yeah, Andrew Teasdale. I'm EXP. I'm located just north of Houston. I'm just here to listen to people like Campbell and Brian, and obviously you, Robert. And the Smarty's on there. I always listen to him.
Oh yeah, well, Smarty's. Those of you that are working with Smarty, I tell you, my mind's every day is just ready to explode with great things, and it's like, oh my God, I want to do so many things. I just got to make sure I eat that elephant one bite at a time because it's some powerful stuff, and I can't wait to get Smarty to tell us. By the way, we just had Smarty jump on. Smarty, why don't you introduce yourself to the folks that maybe don't know you, and tell us, what are you looking to get out of this session?
Yeah, so I'm a AI specialist, guys. I spent 36 years of my industry in technology and built an incredible platform for realtors. And then I met Robert, and I love what you're doing on the Zoom and just a whole different approach on the 14-day to close, because I've been a Falcon Eyeless guy, and getting those offers out in front of sellers is the key ingredient just to open the conversation.
I love it. Well, I look forward to speaking about that today and in future calls. And appreciate you being on, my friend. I love collaborating with you guys, and you have such an amazing group of folks. So let's go to Norm Mead, my buddy Norm Mead, who I've known for quite some time. Norm, tell everybody who you are and what do you want to get out of these sessions, Norm?
Hey, Robert, so glad to see you. Well, what I want to get out of this session is build a fire, buddy. I'm gonna build a fire underneath us because I was in Cabo with you when you were sitting on the beach taking those listings, and I just walked through my sign room a little while ago and said I got to get all my directional signs out and start filing those out there so we can have my tent set up and my popcorn machine and get the lines out because as you know, when I was doing this before, I had full lines, 150, 200 buying units coming through a house in one day, and people could not believe it. And it just drives so much enthusiasm. It's unbelievable. Hey, I smelled your popcorn from down the street. We thought we'd come by and see what was going on. I can't wait to fire up the enthusiasm again, and you can do it. And all these people are going to catch on.
Amen, brother. Well, I tell you what, yeah, we've had a success, but it comes with a strategy and a formula. It's not just it's an organic thing, and we'll share all. I'm at my goal today, just to let you know. My goal today is just share my listing presentation. Campbell, I've sent it to you. Smarty, I sent it to you. I sent it to a few of you. I am fully transparent, guys. I'll just tell you what I'm doing. Everything that I ever share is what I've been using. I was introduced to online offers back in the REO days way back in the day. And then when it got introduced to me again in the residential space, I just said, oh my God, this is amazing. And the things that we've learned over the last 7-8 years of doing it this way, we've learned a few things. My goal is to just share it with you guys. This is what works for me. And obviously you're going to tweak, everybody tweaks their thing for themselves. But if we can stay kind of the formula, if you're off a little bit, that doesn't taste the same. So we want to make sure that we're doing it properly and we're doing it the most leverage way. The leverage is the key. So anyway, Norm, I'm so glad you're on, my friend.
Going to be fun.
Let's see, Rob. Hey, Rob, how are you, sir? What's going on? Why don't you tell everybody who you are and what are you looking to get out of these sessions?
So I'm Aussie Rob. I look after Northwest Atlanta. So by the way, go Aussies today. I know we're playing 3 o'clock. No, I love a lot of the stuff that you're saying. It just resonates. I'm on the Cash Office platform as well with Smarty and the guys and Campbell, which is on the other side of Atlanta. One thing I'd really love to do is drill down into the scripting to get the appointment, right? Because I know everything. I know you have like 3 things you say, but I'd like to break it down into like detail if we can. And I'd love to see a listing presentation as well. So.
Absolutely.
Hey, real quick, Rod, you want to put a little wager on today, brother? Because we're going to kick your ass at 3 o'clock. So you just better be ready, pal. You just better get ready. USA's coming for your scalp.
You took
I got it recording, so no matter how long we go, I'm going to go watch it and pour a drink as soon as we're off this call.
All right, you buy Brandon bourbon, I'll buy you a bourbon. How about that?
Okay, brother, you're on.
I like it. A nice little wager. So go USA. Excellent. So let's see. Thank you for sharing. Rich Rue, how are you, sir? What's going on? You've been introduced to the 14-day platform multiple times. What's going on with you, and what do you want to see out of these sessions, Rich?
You've kind of done a few changes lately, and I want to get up to speed and then get myself going full speed.
Amen. Yeah,
that's simple.
One thing that's constant about this system, it's always changing. Just like life. Yeah, I mean, I can't tell you all the stuff that like Smarty House going on. Oh my God, are you kidding me? Those are things we weren't doing last year. Heck, we weren't doing those at the beginning of this year. My point is, it's always evolving. And that's why we just got to be a student of what we're doing. So anyone else I did not bring up before we get started with our program today? I want to hear from you all. Anyone else have anything before we get kind of going here?
Robert, I'm Dana Ehrlich. I'm based in Los Angeles.
Hi, Dana.
In real estate. Hey. I think we've connected before. I've been Yeah, I found Smarty through the iLace platform. So I've been a loyal user now. Won't call myself a power user by any means. So part of why I'm here is to get myself reignited and get back on a consistent track.
Well, Dana, I tell you what, I'm fired up just to hear that, because that's what it's all about, guys. Again, we're putting everything we can into the blender, and then we're going to use it to help us make our life easy. And I'm a fan, just to give you a little background. I come from the REO space. In the 90s, I was, the glue stick era of doing BPOs on a typewriter. Fast forward to the default market of the early 2000s, then the short sales, and then it transitioned. And then I started using this platform with FSBOs, expireds, pre-foreclosures. And one thing that's constant through at least my career, been in the business since 1986. So I just celebrated 40 years in the real estate industry last February here. But what I'm trying to say is it's always evolving, and we're always looking for ways to better the systems that we have for today's market. Now, today's market, when I mean today's market, I'm not saying what their interest rates are doing and all that. Today's market, who's had their hands up the highest? FSBO and expired. They're the ones raising their hand. I call those now listings. Why in the world would we not want to go to somebody that's telling you, hey, Campbell, I'm looking to sell my home. Oh, let me go farm and then I'll call Campbell later. It should be the other way around. We should be targeting the lowest hanging fruit on the seller tree, FSBOs, expireds, and canceled. Pre-foreclosure, different script, different conversation, still somebody that's in need. Most of the time they don't realize it or they don't want to see it, head in the sand. I'm telling you, a lot of pre-foreclosures are, if you can get to them, if you can connect with them, their message gets through to them, they're a great source of not only helping people get out of a situation they're in, feels good. And when it doesn't quite work out, which a lot of those don't work out, then we're there to help them get the highest and best price in the shortest amount of time. Sure, a cash offer is a great introduction to a FSBO. You could go to Zillow right now, go to for sale by owner, pull up the for sale by owners in your market. You don't need to pay for anything. Zillow is free. Go to for sale by owner, type in your county, type in your area, whatever, go to that for sale by owner and give them a call. Now, if you have a cash offer or cash offers, plural, then that conversation just got a whole lot easier. So if we reach out to that for sale by owner and expire, let's just use it for sale by owner for a second. My name is Robert Wycombe. I'm calling about your home at 123 Main Street. Is it still available? I'm just a simple guy. Remember, I come from the REO days. I'm corporate seller, not a lot of fluff. I'm right short to the point. My wife always teases me when somebody likes to explain something in length. You ever get those kinds of folks? I want to tell you everything and take like 20 minutes doing it. I don't necessarily care how the clock was built. I just want to know what time it is. With that said, I want to get straight to the point. Is their home available? Are they compensating for an offer that's acceptable? When can we jump on a quick Zoom call to go over your property in more detail? Those are the only objections when you're prospecting. Number one, schedule the appointment. That's the only thing that matters. For example, if you call 100 folks, you get 20 contacts, you get 4 listing appointments, and you get 1 listing in 1 week. Those are good numbers. Those are decent numbers. Now, the goal would get those numbers up, just like a batting average in baseball. You want to get that average up. And the more confidence you have, the more confidence you bring to the whole process, the more results, success results you're going to get. But it starts with most agents just don't pull the trigger. They don't put it on their calendar. You must put prospecting on your calendar. Schedule at least 90 minutes a day, in my opinion. That's what I do. 90 minutes minimum, but it's got to be focused prospecting. We can't just call a FSBO, it didn't work, and then go to an event about FSBO and say, I called a FSBO once, it didn't work. No, it's a numbers game. The probability of the sellers making the results to get you that listing you're looking for are FSBOs and expires. They have their hands up. Our job to prospecting, whether it's calling, texting, emailing, sending smoke signals, CRM, it doesn't matter how you reach out. You've got to track what's working for you. Now, if you're not a real beast on CRM, don't spend your whole life trying to get your CRM dialed in. Make some phone calls, stop at some properties. Now, I don't like to leave my house, just so we're clear. I literally do not, if I had a seller right across the street from my house, I would still do it Zoom. I'm not saying you don't need to get out there and see people, but my point is look efficient and effective. Now, the number one job is to get the appointment. Once you get the appointment, is it available? Are you compensating? When can we meet on Zoom so we can get more information about your home? I teach this to my students. I coach, train, and mentor agents all over the country. And that's the number one thing we do. We keep the script simple. We keep who we're calling, what we're saying, and what our goal is to schedule the appointment. A lot of us will get on a call and have a conversation, a great conversation. Oh my God, this is great. Well, let me tell you exactly what I can do for you. Well, you're not ready because I'm not going to do a whole bunch of research on 123 Main Street for sale by owner unless I have a reason to. I'm going to see they want to sell their home and I'm going to call them. Little to no research. Then once I schedule the appointment, then Campbell, do I schedule the Zoom listing appointment? And I have no problem sharing what I do because all I do is I get prepared. I get a seller questionnaire. It's called a seller Q&A. I get it completely filled out, making sure I have all the things that I need in preparation for my meeting, just like you would do if you were going to drive to someone's home. So I prepare, it takes me about twice. I schedule a half an hour to prepare for a listing appointment. I want to pull the comps. I want to know that home frontwards, backwards, sideways. I want to know the area. I want to know everything I can. I want to do as much research on that property as possible. Then I get them on a call. I pull up their Zoom profile. Free. I just pull it up. I'll look at it. I'll verify things that I already know to be true. Is this your address? Yes. Is this the bedroom bath count? Yes. Is this your square footage? Yes. Great. How did you come up with that price? And I listen. They tell me exactly how they come up with their price. And I'm not, and now again, there's a lot of experienced agents on here saying, oh yeah, no kidding. But so many people overlook the price. The only thing that matters is price. I don't care if it's the biggest POS on the planet or if it's the best house in the world. It doesn't matter. It could, no matter what the condition, no matter the location, anything, if it's priced properly, it will sell. Period. If somebody, and sellers right now especially, and I have it baked into my presentation, sellers are all reaching for what it was, and they don't realize it's down here now. They're fighting up here when it's really starting to come down. It's correcting. Properties went up a little bit. Now, at least I'm seeing it all over the country, but I would love to have a Q&A on that right now because I really focus Southern California. My point is sellers are still ambitious with their sales price. You'll see it in a for sale by owner. You'll see it with expired. The reason why they're expired oftentimes is because they were too high and they didn't have an agent that educated that seller on the features and benefits of pricing and how bad it is to price a home too high because you're at the top of the ceiling and your only way is to go down to meet a buyer. Well, we look at it this way. We price it strategically lower, not ridiculously lower, but strategically lower to drive traffic, to drive off traffic to the websites, number one, traffic to the open house, number two. You saw Normeen talked about a couple hundred people buying units. We've had 884. Many of you know Kathy Ryan. She had 884 people to her open house. Now, is that happening right now? No, it's not. It was 21, 22. My point is, I had an open house just 2 weeks ago. 170 agents with their buyers and 130 buyers without their agents. That's a lot of folks. That's a lot of folks. And that's in a Saturday and Sunday small window. You can imagine them bumping into each other in the kitchen, right? So we're going to talk about that. So who to call, what to say, how to schedule the appointment. Once you get on the appointment, how to schedule the Zoom listing presentation, have your presentation ready. I'm going to share you mine. It's not all AI'd out, but it's super easy to follow. And it's a visual that the sellers cannot get out of their head. Once they see this, they can't unsee it. If anything else, I'm wrecking them for any other agent they decide to meet with. And I have a lot of times they'll call me back saying, yeah, I can't find anybody that has what you have. Let's go. Because this is new. Most sellers aren't used to this stuff. You got to keep it short and sweet. So I'm going to show you my listing presentation. I'm going to show you how to leverage, and we may not get to it today, but I'm going to show you how to leverage the cash offers to get the listing appointment. Guys, remember, your only goal for the seller, the only thing they want from you is an offer. Multiple offers would be great. And again, I'm not bashing the cash offers, but I did a study of the last 72 listings. Not one of those cash offers were the best solution for my seller. But the cash offers are the best leverage tool to get that seller the highest and best price, period. So we'll talk about cash offers, leveraging. We'll spend time in other sessions on how to set up the platform to take the cash offers and bring them right into your online offers. It's going to be great. We'll talk about squeezing the juice out of the open house. Guys, remember, if you have 170 buyer agents coming to your open house, what kind of opportunity is that for you? I know with me, I know a lot of us, whether you're with EXP or not, we're growing our organization. I'm looking for more buyer agents because if I take listings and I don't have buyer agents, that's tough. I don't want to do open houses. That's not my job. I'm a listing agent, not a buyer agent. When you have 170 agents that are actively working in this market and they get exposed to this platform, it's a game changer. It's a recruiting tool, huge. And again, it doesn't matter what brand you're with. Everybody that I know that wants to do any kind of business in mass needs a team of agents on their team. So we'll talk about the open house, how to squeeze the juice, and then we'll talk about the 14-day process from the time I list the property to the time we go under contract is 14 days or less. That's it. It works beautiful with expireds. Expireds just got out of a 6-month relationship that didn't work. Oh my God, 14 days. I want it just for that. Why would we not be the most efficient and effective way to do our business? Taking them via Zoom, efficient and effective. 14 days, not 6 months. Don't price it high, price it low, and let the buyers take it up to its highest point. Buyers are inherently competitive. So I'm going to show you my listing presentation, but before I do, I want to see if there's any questions on what I've gone over up to this point. Campbell, I know you have a question. You always have a question.
Not this time, man. I'm just ready to listen.
Any other questions, guys, before we get started?
What's your average days on market, Robert?
What's that?
What's your average days on market?
My average days on market are 14 days before we go to contract. And then it averages between, once you get them under contract, it's 30, 45, whatever days. But start to finish, it's 14 days or less is my average. That's the only way to go. Andrew, go ahead.
Hey, Robert, on the 14-day thing, you get them under contract. You mentioned before in your presentations that you get like some sort of addendum or amendment. Do you extend that out since the listing's expired, or am I misunderstanding something?
Nope. I'll be more than happy to explain that. What I do, Andrew, is I take the listing and I literally, the contract says from Friday to 2 weeks from that day, Friday, 14 days, the actual listing agreement says that exact date. I have an addendum because when you have a platform, I would say most brokerages, at least mine, we have an addendum that explains every little detail. The attorneys wrote it. I'm not changing the letter, and explains everything, how the premium works to pay the buyer agent. Why would the seller pay for the buyer agent when they don't have to? The buyer gets to pay for their own agent. It's all spelled out. So yes, there's an addendum that says 14 days is the listing contract. Seller agrees to extend to match that of the escrow period. So if we go into a 30-day escrow, typically I'll do a 35-day extension, so I don't have to keep going and doing it again. So that's spelled out right there. If for some reason it doesn't work out in that 14 days, no harm, no foul, have a nice day. And the best, my closing gift to that would be at least you have market rate offers. These are what the market says your home is worth. That is my parting gift should you come to that. Because the transparency, if it does nothing else, it shows what the market is willing to pay. Now, typically, I've turned away more listings than I can like to remember. I can tell you that for fact. Because I made a decision. I do not want to work with the seller that thinks their home's worth $1 million and I think it's worth $850. We got a problem. But most agents will take that listing and go, well, maybe I can get some price reductions. Maybe that one buyer maybe one buyer in the world that'll pay that amount, maybe they'll take it. That goes through your head. Man, you start doing the commission in your head of $1 million. That's a hard thing to walk away from. But one thing is so important. I think our time is more important. I want to go work with sellers. They're absolutely awesome to work with because I'm building my database of future clients. I don't want a bunch of jerks in my database. I'm not trying to, you understand what I'm saying? I don't want to work with a seller that's digging their heels in unrealistic territory. So I've turned away a bunch of, and we talked about this with Campbell. The first 3 to 5 minutes are me and that seller talking about price. Yes, I have every single comp. I'm really good at comparing properties. I do BPOs for Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae. A lot of you guys on the call do BPOs as well. You need to know how to evaluate property. I'm not an appraiser, but I bet I could play one on TV. My point is, I have everything ready to go. So when I get on that Zoom call and somebody says their home's worth $1 million, I can tell them their home's worth $850, and I'll show them with data. I'm not going to try to offend them. I'm going to just educate them. If we can't get past some kind of realistic price range, I just move on. Either one is fine, but that's a hard thing to say. We're always trying to think, well, how can I make this work? How can I make this work? They're not realistic. It's very difficult. Any other questions before we get started? Hopefully that wasn't take too long to answer that question. That was a long one, but I had so many things to share. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm going to share my presentation. And let's go here. I'm going to share right here. Please hold. Let's put it on the old big screen here. Let me share it. And I'm going to turn this into a PowerPoint so it looks halfway decent. Okay, so let's see. Can we see my screen okay before I get started? There it comes. You guys ready? Can you see it? Just give me one thumbs up. Give me some. Yes. Andrew, can you see it?
We can see it.
Okay.
That guy.
Yeah, I left that on there just to remind me that I once had no beard. So basically what I do is I mentioned before, when I get on a Zoom call with the seller, I pull up their Zillow profile. I'll go, everyone's seen the Zillow profile. I don't need to show it to you. You see the Zillow profile, you go over their home. They usually have decent photos. And when they don't have decent photos, it works to my benefit. I'm like, I got a picture of your closet door. What is this? And there's certain things you can do. Most sellers want to have likes and shares, and we'll walk into that. So I'll go through their home, verify the address. I'll verify the bedroom, bath count, square footage, and then I get to your price. Tell me how you came up with your price. And I listen. And I don't say a word. If it's a for sale by owner, they go on and on and on and on. If it's an expired, they go on and on and on and on about how bad their agent was and how they didn't bring any buyers, no open house traffic, and I'm just getting good ammunition, right? The whole time when I'm in that Zoom call, I'll transfer right after I ask those questions and how we came up with the price. I may have some questions on. I've noticed that I had a seller appointment the other day. He literally had, I don't know, 15 or 20 price reductions, but they were like $99, $100. And then he raised it a couple times. I had to ask. I go, what is this? I'm confused. Oh, but I just want to get, our market activity, and an agent told me to do this. And well, that's a terrible idea. And let me show you a better way. And I go right in to my presentation. Every single seller I've ever met in my entire life has had the same thing in common. They want the highest and best price, the shortest amount of time, with the least amount of liability, hassle, and expense. Right? That's just what they want. So I lead with that because the cash offers, guys. Now, the one step I did leave out in the event the seller brings up they want to see the cash offer. I'll have that up on the screen and I'll show them the cash offers. And once they pick themselves off the floor, we can continue our conversation because none of those cash offers will ever be good enough for a very high percentage of most sellers. We want the highest and best price in the shortest amount of time. We've agreed on price, boom, then I go to my presentation. If we don't agree to price, we don't get to this spot. We talk about price, we go over the comps, We go over that. That's what we do, that we spend as much time we need to on that before we go to this. So we'll accomplish the fact that they want the highest and best price. Then I talk to them about, let me show you this. I talk to them about how sellers now outnumber buyers at record levels. And I have this up on the screen while I'm talking about it. You don't want to read it verbatim, but you just want to let them know that sellers now outnumber buyers. There's more buyers than sellers. So it's even more important now to have a timing and strategy that's critical to stand out.
Did you say that wrong? Was it? It's there's more sellers than buyers, not more buyers than sellers. More buyers than sellers.
There's more sellers. There's
buyers?
more sellers than buyers.
Okay.
In many markets, because the sellers are starting so high, so the sellers are having a harder time driving hundreds of buyers to their properties. Make sense? Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Got it. And we do know this. We've already accomplished. We already know that the seller's number one goal is to get their price. They want the highest and best price. Our goal is their goal, and I remind them of that. I let them know that in 14 days or less, I bring them multiple offers. Now, I can guarantee multiple offers right as soon as I go to the iList Cash Offers platform. I type in their address, boom, multiple offers. And if they want to see them, I can show them. But I already know that they're all too low because we've established their price and how important that price is to them. Our number one goal is to get more eyes on the property, because more eyes equals more offers. Sellers are just like us. We always go to our Facebook and our social media. How many likes, how many shares, they're always looking at that. And they go to their Zillow profile and they see minimal views. It's because nobody wants it. Nobody likes it. Views are one thing, saves are another thing. And I'll show you what I mean by that. Now, most for sale by owners are in Zillow and sometimes Trulia. And every now and then they'll, pay a subscription to another one. But for the most part, they're on hardly any platform. So nobody really knows it's there, except for agents. And every single for sale by owner I talk to, if they were to break it down and we're honest, they said that 80% of the calls they're getting are from agents, if not higher. So we just know, and it plays into what we're talking about. Everyone knows we have access to the IDX feed. Now we have lots of tools. Just so we're clear, I don't spend not $1 marketing my properties. Now I know there's a lot of ways to leverage the listings to get more business, but I'm talking about the promotion of this listing. Most of the stuff I do in social media is to let everybody else know I have a listing. If they want to list their home too, that's great. Very little of my marketing is to sell the home. I let the IDX feed, the MLS, drive traffic with my pricing strategy. And I'll explain that in a second. Here's an example. I don't know if you can see, it's a little small, but my price range is between $750 and $1.5. My ideal home is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath in a community, a master plan community. That is where the biggest buyer pools are. Now, there's no, I'm not, if it's a smaller buyer pool, it's just an expectation thing we're setting up. But as an example, this is 755. This is a property in Fallbrook. Fallbrook's off the beaten path for most of you that don't know. It's off the beaten path. It's not a huge amount of buyer pool. We listed this property. In 14 days, we had 8,981 views, 789 saves. Now, views are one thing, saves are another. Zillow uses this like a CRM, and they remind everybody that saved it when the open houses are, if there's any changes. 789 usually translate into open house traffic. That's why we're driving so much traffic, but the pricing strategy is the biggest thing we do. 1.3, smaller buyer pool. We still, in 13 days, we had 6,323 views, 476 saves. That's a lot of traffic. I would encourage you to look back at your listings and see what kind of views and saves you have on your properties. It's important. Now, this is the kind of traffic. This is one of Kathy Ryan's listings. She had 884 people. For the longest time, I had the record at 556 through the open house doors. I averaged between 200-300 pretty regularly. Every now and then, if it's like that house that everybody wants, you'll certainly get more. But 200 to 300 groups through the doors. buying units. That's pretty good. Most of us look back and go, I've had like 20 is the most amount of people I've ever had in an open house. Picture these buyers standing in line. Picture them bumping into each other, comfortably bumping into each other in the kitchen. They're looking around going, man, I really want this house, but honey, look at all these other people that also want it just as bad as us. It's a psychological thing. You see a line around the block. Heck, I think the Menifee police came to this one because they didn't know if it was like a protest or riot, what's going on. They didn't know. My point is, we check them in. Each person gets checked in, and they're escorted through the home with an agent if they do not have one. It's easy to get buyer agents on your team with this kind of system. If they're looking for more business, this is the greatest way to get agents on your team. Look at that. Have your lender sitting right next to them. 2 agents and a lender minimum. We had an agent up in Rancho Cucamonga, had like 1,200. I mean, that was an anomaly. That was crazy. I saw the video or I wouldn't have believed it. My point is, the goal is to drive traffic to the websites first, then drive traffic to the open house, scheduled by appointment only. I personally do Saturday and Sunday. I personally don't do them. My team does, but my time frame is Saturday 12 to 4, Sunday 12 to 3. And depending on how popular that property is, I may extend it or I may reduce it. But I want to make sure we get everybody in the home at the same time, if at all possible. Now, I don't make it uncomfortable. I mean, you can't have everybody or all at once, but it's a systematic way to do it. You check every single person in every single time. So at the end of the day, and I love this slide, this is remember this, when buyers compete, sellers win. Sellers like to see that. But I also like to point out everybody wins. Let me tell you why. Because our offers are fully transparent. You can see our offers. This is just an example of one we did recently. I mean, this is fantastic. And Tom, and I'll send this to you too, so you don't have to have some weird photos with your thumb in it. My point is, this is just a sample of a property. What does it say? 12, let's see, 13 offers. Not bad. The current prices you can see are $838, $300. That's the seller's price that they want. Their goal. This seller actually wanted $800. They got $838. So they got $38,000 more than they thought. Then the buyer's compensation is added to that number to come up with a total purchase price, including the buyer agent's compensation. The buyer pays, they can pick any number they want. If you have the platform and you're using it, you can pick 1, 2, 3, it doesn't matter, because it's getting added on anyway. It's not being paid for by the seller. Sure, it comes off the seller's net sheet, so we're clear, but it doesn't come out of the seller's pocket. Huge. And Josh places his offer. We had a number of offers below that, but I'm giving you the top 7. Josh submits his offer. Then Guillermo comes in, and then Jeff, and then look at this. Guillermo comes back. We're getting buyer competition. You know, it only takes 2 buyers to constitute a bidding war. And so many sellers say, oh, I don't want to get in a bidding war, or so many buyer agents and their buyers say, oh, they don't want to get in a bidding war. They're already in a bidding war. You just don't know it, right? Jeff comes in. Jeff, you can see he came in and said, I'm going in, I'm going all in, putting all my chips in. That's great. Guess what it did? It pushed Guillermo up even higher. Guillermo comes back, then Michael, then Shauna, and guess what? Guillermo was forced to pay the absolute maximum that home will bring. Sellers want the highest and best price in the shortest amount of time. That's how it's done. Fully transparent. Sellers win because they're getting guaranteed the highest and best price. Buyers win because they're eliminating buyer's remorse. Buyer's remorse is gone. They know exactly what they needed to pay to get that home. Buyer's remorse can be a killer of deal. It includes requests for repairs. It brings, they're always trying to renegotiate the offer if they don't know. If what happens is, hey, Tom, I thank you for your offer. The multiple seller counter offer is coming out. Highest and best and final. Here you go. No idea where the offers are. You go to your buyers and say, congratulations, they want a counter. What would you like to come in at? I don't know. What would you like to, what do you think we should write? I don't know if I want that liability. Every buyer has two things that go on when you call them up. Tom, the seller has decided to take your buyer's offer. And you tell your buyer, and two things happen simultaneously. I'm super excited. Oh my God, I overpaid. If it's not transparent, you're going to have buyer's remorse. Want to get rid of requests for repairs? Let's say Guillermo comes back and says, hey, Robert, my buyer wants to do a request for repairs. There's some ridiculous list of requests, because the home inspection. I would say, oh, no problem. Let me get on the phone to Shauna and see where her buyers are. Because they know that Shauna's right on his heels. So it's going to just about eliminate any kind of request for repairs as well. Now, here's the pricing strategy. You price it high, you're going to attract less buyers. That's the facts. You price it at market, sure, you'll attract more buyers, but if you price it below market, you're going to get maximum buyers and therefore get a bidding war. What we're doing is we're setting up. Remember, this is my listing presentation. I'm telling you as why each slide matters, because this is setting up the sellers for our pricing and marketing strategy. Here's some results of some previous properties. Here's my pricing strategy for you. Opening price means the starting price, the price that's going to drive traffic to your home. We explained in the previous slides how important it is to drive traffic to the properties. Drive it to the website first. We do no showings until the weekend, and I'll show you what I mean by that. This is the starting price, not the ending price. A lot of sellers, this is the hardest part for them to wrap their head around. One thing I like to tell them is the seller reserves the right to accept, counter, or reject any offer. In this case, the goal price was $850, so my starting price would be $722,500 to the penny every time. Strategy is the same. Remember, I work in the 750 to 1.5 is my wheelhouse. Kind of investors have their buy box. My listing box is I want between 750 and 1.5. I want it in a community. I don't want it 30 miles off a dirt road. I don't want a vacant land. I don't want to do mobile homes, condos without access. I try to avoid those because we need to have bodies driving that interest to that home. I walk them through my success timeline. For example, Friday, June 19th would be today. I'm getting ready for an appointment tonight. We wouldn't go live until Monday, the 22nd. Here's why. We take the listing on Friday. I put it live in the MLS and say no showings until the open house, not this weekend, but next weekend. What happens is agents show up because they don't read. One of my mentors told me, and to this day, I think it's the funniest thing ever. Does anybody know what RDR is? Realtors don't read. And here's what's funny. I would list in the MLS on Friday and say open house, not this weekend, but next weekend, but it doesn't really tell you. It just says Saturday, the date and time. I cannot tell you how many times I've had agents, I'm in front of your open house. I don't see anybody here. Multiple times knocking on my client's door. So I decided to put them live on Monday. No showings during the week. Oh, but Robert, my client's out of town this weekend. Can we see it Thursday? No showings until Saturday at 12 p.m., Sunday from 12 to 3. That's it. Let that buyer pool fill up and then let them place their offers. And we'll go over this into the platform in terms of best ways of strategy, how to use the cash offers to leverage. What you don't want to do is throw all the cash offers over there right in the beginning, because then remember, our number one goal is to drive people to the property. Let those people, let them see everyone else. That's number one. Because if you put the offers transparently before the open house weekend, you may lose some of them. They may think, oh, you know what? It's gone above what I'm willing to pay. I'm just not going to come. We want all of them there. Then Monday morning, that's when the offers go transparently live to the world. Everybody can see them, whether they're writing an offer or submitting an offer or not. The whole world can see it. And I can tell you this, if my wife had her eyes on a house and she sees somebody just outbid us, I can tell you what, I can feel it right now. She'll elbow me and go, let's go. We want this home. That's just how my house works. I'm sure that most buyers are like that. Buyers are inherently competitive. We give them Monday, Tuesday, I close offers off at 7 p.m. on Wednesday. That's just what I've done for years. That's what works for me. I don't think giving them only 1 or 2 days is enough. I think 3 days is ample because I want to put them under contract. I want to put the winning buyer under contract before Friday. Contract signed, sealed, delivered. Buyers have crossed off their open house list. No more open houses for that buyer because I want them committed to my property. If you don't solidify the contract and you let it go over until the following Monday, what's to stop those buyers? They're not under contract, so they're going to go see more homes, and oftentimes they'll just decide on a different home. Lock them up on Friday, June 19th to Friday, July 3rd, 14 days. And as Andrew talked about, then that's 14 days. That's a listing agreement. When I send the RPA, the purchase contract and supporting documentation to my seller, they also get an extension of listing, extending it to match that escrow. For example, if it's 30 days, I like to go 35. So that, and it's already written in the addendum to the listing. That's how it works. And depending on buyer and seller, their timelines may differ. My close when I'm talking to sellers. So is Saturday, June 27th from 12 to 4 and Sunday, June 28th, 12 to 3. Do those dates work for you? Well, yeah, I think, yeah, honey, we get those. Yeah, we can get those dates. Those dates can work. Fantastic. I'm going to go ahead and send you this presentation so you can follow up exactly. I'm going to send you the marketing agreement, the listing agreement, the supporting documentation. I'm going to send it to you in an email. I would like you to go through that. You can reach out to me and I'll go through it with you, or you can go through it and get back to me with any questions. They go through it. It's a super easy read. They have any questions, we address the questions. And no more questions, bam. I send them a DocuSign, get it signed, get it done. Here we go. And then over the weekend, I'll put it in the, I'll get everything ready to go, and then I'll hit push play on Monday morning. Monday morning through Friday, Monday through Friday, no showings. Showings on Saturday and Sunday only. You're going to get some stragglers, some sellers that are some buyers that really loved it. They want to bring their family back, their contractor back. I encourage sellers to have some flexibility Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, while the offers are due, because oftentimes that buyer, I've seen it so many times where the buyer that actually ended up winning this thing didn't see it at the open house. They came because they didn't even know it was available. They're out of town or whatever. But a lot of buyers want to bring back their parents, their friends, and make another decision. Because remember, this is the end user is going to give us the highest and best price. We want to make sure we're catering to that end user. Investors, they don't even need to see the house. They'll just do an algorithm offer for you, and they don't care. You're never going to get the highest price with those guys. So another thing, only one person gets the home. What are you going to do with the other 300 that came to your property? That's where the magic happens. I've been told and I've seen, and it's true, every listing you take should be 5 opportunities. More sellers. I can tell you, I have people come up to me in the line. They'll point to the line of people and say, I want this. When sellers in the neighborhood come and say, I want this, I'll go over and see the home if I'm there. A lot of times my agents will say, hey, Robert, somebody across the street wants to sell their home. Let's set it up. It's a Zoom call. It's done. But my point is, look at all those buyer agents are there. You want to grow your team. Look at all those buyers. Your agents are growing their business. Your lenders love you. You're squeezing the juice out of every property in a 14-day period. Now, this is really how I wrap it up. Now, I know what I charge. You know what you charge. So we're not going to go into what you should charge or what you shouldn't charge. Everybody has their own number. Now, I put it right in there. Remember when I first talked about the seller? Hi, my name is Robert, calling about your property at 123 Main Street. If I was to bring you an offer at a price was acceptable, are you willing to pay a 3% agent compensation is how my script works. And a lot of times the FSBOs and expires, they're prepared in their head, especially the FSBOs. They're prepared to pay a compensation for an offer that's acceptable. Most of the FSBOs just don't want to pay a listing agent. Because the platform allows the buyer to pay their own agent, I earmark that X amount of percent for me. And that's what I'm I'm really good at doing that. We're saving the sellers thousands of commissions because we're letting the buyer pay for their own agent. The online offers transparency is the best way to get the highest and best price possible, period. And it's all done in 14 days or less. I set it up, pricing's the key, and then I go in with the close. Do you have any questions? And that's how we get started. So for what it's worth, I do have a QR code if you want to check it out. If you have a question on my strategy and want to start really working the FSBO expired and pre-foreclosure market, I encourage you to reach out to me. If you'd like to, I'll walk you through it. I coach, train, and mentor agents all over the country. I have 2 new agents, and I mean new as in they've just got their license. The only real estate they know is what they studied to get their test. That's it. She started on Wednesday. She didn't make any contact. She's like, oh, Monica, it's not working. Have some faith. She jumped back on the phones and started reaching out to FSBOs and expires. Thursday, she scheduled 3 listing appointments for Friday. 2 of them showed up. 1 had to reschedule. But my point is, it takes time. You need to give it a chance. I would say make a 30-day commitment. If you want to make a 30-day commitment to dominate FSBOs and expireds, now that we have Smarties programs, now that we have the AI that this platform has, the sky's the limit. So with that said, that's what I wanted to show you today. And I want to reach out to, let me stop sharing my screen. And let's go to a Q&A. Campbell, go ahead. What do you got, brother?
Okay, real quick question for you. I want to make sure that we're fully in sync with you on the FSBO. If they do not want to pay compensation to a listing agent, then you're going to default to the sale mode of either premium fixed or premium percentage, and that's where you're going to charge your fee that's added to what the buyer's offer is. Am I correct on that?
No. My goal is when I reach out to a for sale by owner, most for sale by owners don't want to pay a compensation, and that compensation is usually they don't want to pay a listing agent. Many that I talk to at least are willing to pay a compensation for an offer that's acceptable. So that 3% or 2% or whatever they say. Now, if they say I'm not paying any commission, you know what I say to them? Great. When can we jump on a quick Zoom call to go over your property in more detail? I do not care. But I charge my seller the listing compensation, and the platform pays for the buyer agent compensation.
Okay.
In their head, in the seller's head, they're geared up. Most of them that I talk to are geared up to pay a compensation for an offer that's acceptable. Now, back in the day, to your point, back in the day, we used to be able to say, I'm not charging the seller anything. We even had these 0 commission. Norm can relate because we used to do a bunch of postcards, 0 commission to the seller. And then we were charging a 5, 6, 7% premium on top of the offer to compensate the listing agent and the buyer agent. We've been instructed not to do that anymore. That handed down about 21, 22. So does that answer your question?
That does.
Yeah, but from the setup, Campbell, in Falcon, we're putting that 2.5 or 3% as the premium fixed or percentage to cover the buyer's compensation to offset what they're paying Robert 3.
I love it. I love it. So Campbell, great stuff. So that's a quick, I mean, I kind of went through it and I had agents speak in there, but I wanted to share my listing presentation and to tell you why I do what I do and how I set it up. That's been working really well, but it's not 100%. So if there's anything I can do differently, that's what my name is Robert Weichelt, and that's what I want out of these sessions. I want to make it bigger, better, faster, stronger. Campbell, you've been a great help with that, Smarty. Thank you, my friend. And what other questions do we have, guys? Not all at once, though.
Robert, I will tell you very quickly, Beth and I will bring you our presentation as soon as we're done.
Yeah.
And we'll gladly share it with you. Like I said, we're finishing the dial in on it, and we're more than willing to let other people look at it because everyone's going to tweak it a little bit for themselves, but we'll show you what we come up with.
You know what? And that's sharing is caring, is what my good
Yep.
friend Jeff Russell tells me. Sharing is caring. Anything else, Smarty? Would you like to say any comments before we get done for the today?
No, this is absolutely a home run for all of us if we just follow the formula. And we, like you said, we're all sharing. I'm doing the same, Campbell. I'm tweaking my presentation. I got yours, Robert. Thank you. And I'm going to take my spin on it, and then we'll just keep sharing and just keep refining that presentation. And I think the Zoom approach is absolutely brilliant because everybody's on Zoom in the world. Everybody went through it with COVID. So now it's a natural say, hey, hop on a quick Zoom. Let me discuss your house. Right. So I think that instead, my approach was always trying to get to the kitchen table. But being in Philly, a kitchen table could be a 55-minute or an hour ride out to their house. Right.
Yeah.
So that's a 3-hour turnaround. So you can see more sellers and being able to get to them and convey the message is brilliant over Zoom.
I love it. Well, you know what, guys? I appreciate you guys jumping on today. We'll hope to see you every Friday where we learn, build, and grow from each other. And the More Deals Mastermind, that's what we're all about. Let's just call it what it is. We want to do more deals. We also want to do them in the least amount of time. Just like sellers want the highest and best price. I don't want to work 24/7. I want to use the tools that we have. It's our tool belt, Pro Edge. Are you kidding me? I cannot wait to get that going. And I'm super excited. So I'm blessed to have you guys on today. My co-host, Kathy Ryan, will be back next week. She just had knee surgery, so she's on the IL, so she's recovering nicely. But the More Deals Mastermind, again, is every Friday, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. You go to moredealsmastermind.com. And I tell you, at the end of the day, this is what it's all about. And remember, guys, my favorite saying is we'll see you in escrow.